Andor. Andor continues to be amazing. Well, it's ended now. I wrote this note before it ended, but it's amazing and is a breath of fresh air for Star Wars in general, and definitely for me personally when it comes to Star Wars. And spoiler alert for the show. I assume you finished it.
Yeah, I finished Andor.
So spoiler alert. We're just gonna talk spoilers. It's good. We think it's good. Let's move on to the spoilers. So the Prison Break was great, and Andy Serkis absolutely killed it. Like, he's an amazing actor, and I'm used to just seeing him play CGI monsters and stuff like that, like Gollum and like what's his name from Star Wars? Very forgettable villain. And it looked like what was his name?
Well, from Black Panther.
No, I was talking about the villain in like The Force Awakens. And,
damn! I forgot about Snoke.
Yeah, because he was very forgettable. But speaking of Claw, I was actually going to bring up Claw, and it makes me upset that they killed Claw so early on, because he could have been so good if they let him live. Because especially with the direction they're going with the Vibranium War stuff, Claw would be amazing in the story like that. I hope somehow, some way he survived. But didn't he get shot in the head?
I don't know if he got shot in the head or the chest.
I can't remember. But either way, people have survived getting shot in the head. Just say he survived somehow. Maybe he had Vibranium on him, because Vibranium somehow magically heals all wounds. So maybe he used Vibranium to save himself. But
I mean, in the comics, he literally becomes
a robot.
Living sound. Like that's his whole villain thing.
Yeah, maybe they do that instead. Then they would just be Andy Serkis playing another CGI character though, which is funny. But Luther's monologue at the end of I forget what episode it was. I think it was the second last episode. His monologue in that episode was amazing.
You're talking about the one under the bridge on Coruscant?
Yes.
Yeah, that was great.
That was easily one of my favorite monologues in the entire show. Also, his ship is cool as hell. At the end of the episode after that, when he's fighting off those TIE fighters with his ship, was so cool. That's one of the coolest ships I've ever seen in Star Wars, in my opinion. It felt like something out of like a James Bond movie, and it made me low-key want a James Bond style like movie, but set in the Star Wars universe with someone with like a tricked out ship like that, doing espionage stuff similar to like what Andor and Luthen are doing. I feel like that could be really cool.
That would actually be fun. Like, I would love to see something like that.
But speaking of
bringing a character from Legends that like doesn't have a whole lot about them and like do it that way, I would love to see something like that.
Yeah, that would be interesting. But speaking of speeches, the Marva's speech, post-mortem speech in the finale, really touched my soul and made me a little emotional. It really got to me because it was very inspiring. You know, it was about, you know, rebellion and fighting against the Empire. And it's just, you know, I say it all the time. I'm a very like hopeful, optimistic person, and that speech was just full of that. It was full of hope and optimism and just fighting to do what's right and make things better. And it's talk about a lot of the things that, you know, it encapsulates the core values of what Star Wars built upon: hope and rebellion. And it's a lot of, you know, what I like about a character like Superman. And it really touched my soul and reminded me why I love Star Wars so much. How did you feel when you heard that speech?
I'm not gonna lie, I know this is really gonna disappoint you. I didn't care about her speech all that much. That said, it was a good speech. It didn't pull any raw emotion out of me. I was just more tense about what was going to happen because of it, and the riot that broke out because of it. Yeah. I knew that was gonna happen. I was expecting a lot more depth out of that.
There was a lot of depth though.
What?
There was a lot of depth though.
There was. I was expecting more major character deaths. Andor's best friend, that one dude who was like carrying his mom's stone, I was expecting him to die for sure. I was expecting that little kid that threw the bomb. I was expecting him to die for sure.
I was afraid that what's her name? I forget her name. I thought she was gonna die for that.
Bex or whatever her name was, the one that was in like that weird Imperial like prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought she was gonna die too. I'm very surprised she lived.
Yeah.
Like I'm surprised she lived through that.
The music that the band played during the funeral was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to the composer for Andor. Nicholas Bertel is the composer for this show. He did a fantastic job.
Star Wars in general just has amazing music, with the exception of, I feel like, Obi-Wan. But like
for a second, bro. For a second, I thought you were about to say Mandalorian, and I was gonna choke you through the screen.
I love the music.
I really was afraid you were about to say Mandalorian.
No. Kenobi. The music in Kenobi was so disappointing for me. That's one of the main things
I've never been so disappointed by John Williams in my entire life. He only did the main theme. He didn't do the entire score. But that main theme to me personally, it doesn't really fit Obi-Wan for me, and it also sounds like the Spider-Man PS4 Star Wars theme way too much.
It really does.
Like every time I hear it, I just go, "That's Spider-Man," and Obi-Wan isn't Spider-Man. Like, because in my brain it's Spider-Man, I know what Spider-Man stands for, and I know what that theme sounds like, and nothing about what Spider-Man stands for or what that theme sounds like fits Obi-Wan, especially at that point in his life.
Yeah.
So it just
I
agree.
I hate saying this, and I hate when people say stuff like this, but no joke, no exaggeration, I've heard fan themes better than that. Yeah. Like, this was far from John Williams' best.
What was I gonna say? So, is it just me, or was there some, like, weird sexual tension between Cyril Karn and Deidre after he saved her?
Deidre?
The Imperial lady, where she was like, she had got stuck in the street.
Yeah, no, I thought that. I 110% thought that was where there's multiple characters who, like, they insinuated that something was going on with them, and I felt like I was missing episodes or like dialogue. But that happened with multiple characters, where I'm like, there's no way.
The thing is, it was weird, but I'm low-key not mad at it. Honestly, I'm not
mad at it. The way I see it is like their characters are like aren't as important to the show as like Andor or like Luthen are.
They're important. They're just not as simple.
But that happened a lot where it's just characters where I'm like, they're a thing off screen. But what's that thing from The Boys where Butcher like looks at the screen, is like, they're shagging or something like that. Like, it's like, I saw that multiple times, like multiple characters. And it's not that like many characters that it happens with, but it's weird that it happens so many times with that many side characters.
Yeah.
It's the two of them. I feel like Bix and Andor had a lot of chemistry.
Well, it was because they used to date.
Did they? Yeah. Was that stated?
Yeah, that was stated. That's why her boyfriend didn't like Andor, because he was jealous.
I knew that he was jealous, but I didn't think they dated. I thought that was just like him being unreasonably jealous.
Yeah, no, they used to date.
Okay, so that one's out the window. But
I mean, there was one that was just straight up an actual romantic relationship with the Indian lady. I can never remember her name, and the white woman that is Mon Mothma's cousin. They were straight up in a relationship.
It was implied. I don't think it was ever stated.
No, they're in a relationship. It was like stated at one point. Like when they were like, it's like this. It was only weeks ago, but it feels like it was like a half a year ago when we saw the whole breaking into the Imperial stockhold or whatever. But at some point, the one dude who betrayed them, he said that don't even try to get with the Indian lady because she's in a relationship with the other girl. He said something like that, like she's taken or whatever, and then they showed them walking out of the hut together. I
completely missed that, but
and then it's just that I'm gonna look up her name real quick, but it's just that she was so focused on the mission that she didn't have time to like really focus on the relationship.
That's what I felt like was what they kept implying.
Her name is Santa.
But I completely missed where it was stated. And I completely missed where it was stated that Andor and Big stated too. Like, I just did not pay that full of attention.
Yeah, her name was Senta, and the other woman's name was Val.
Yes.